Showtime Nick is in the building. Didn't waste a second. Coach, Showtime Nick is here already. Nick has some questions for you, Coach.
He trying to see if he gonna hear anything he ain't already heard. Get them legs in shape, son.
They're rolling in. Like I said, we just talked about Francis Thorne is in the building. Francis is here.
All
We
right,
got
Frankie.
Big T30's in the building. Jacob Shaw's in the building. They're rolling in. Let me wave to some of these folks real quick.
Make sure they have some questions ready when they get
Yeah,
on.
they know. They're told to bring their questions to the table. I know for it. John Hollins is in the building. John Hill. I'm sorry, John Hill. John Hill's in the building. I know for a fact, Coach, Nick has questions. Facts. Keep rolling in. They keep rolling in. John Hill, 45, appreciate you. Jacob Shaw, appreciate you. Of course, Francis in the building. And Big T, 3-0. And of course, our man, Nick. All right, well, it's that time. Okay, we got to get the baby and any means show it up. All right, Coach. So I'm going to go ahead and follow down the lineup we have here. The people are still rolling in. Francis, Coach Free. Francis said hello, Coach.
What's going on, Frankie?
Jay Smooth's in the building. Appreciate you, Jay.
Jay
All right.
Smooth.
Jay Smooth. Yep, Jay Smooth. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll forward with the program here. So a lot of you might not know me. My name is Coach Ronnie. I do strength conditioning, specifically with baseball. I was a strength conditioning coach within the New York Mets organization for 12 years. Had to retire due to a kidney issue, had a kidney transplant, and I'm out here working with y'all right now, doing my part to change the game, Master J. So that's my story. Now, let's speak on the guest here, Coach Marvin Freeman. I have the bio as usual right here. I'm going to run straight down the bio. Marvin Freeman played collegiately at Jackson State University. He was drafted as the number 2 pick of the Philadelphia Phillies in 1984. Marvin enjoyed a 14-year career, a pro career, 10 years MLB. He was the Phillies minor league pitcher of the year in '86 and also made his MLB debut and won his first game against the eventual world champion New York Mets on September 21st, 1986. All right. Freeman won his first career decision on the day his first child was born. Nice. What a blessing. What a blessing. Traded to the Braves in 1990, he served as the primary setup reliever for the 2-time NLB champion Atlanta Braves 90 through 94. Marvin returned to the starting rotation in 1994 in Colorado Rockies as a free agent. There he was voted by the Denver Writers Association as Colorado Rockies Pitcher of the Year. Freeman finished the 1984 season with a 10-2 record with a 2.8 ERA. Freeman finished 4th in the Cy Young Award voting, the highest finish by any Rockies pitcher until 2010. One of the more special moments of that season for Freeman came in a June 13th game against the Braves in Fulton County Stadium, in which, for the first time in 17 trials, the Rockies finally beat the Braves behind Freeman, who outdueled. Freeman started coaching youth baseball in 1999 and was a varsity baseball head coach for 12 years. He was the director of pitching development at Diamond Sports Academy in Illinois, Malkana, Illinois. Currently pitching instructor for MLB Youth Development Series, pitching coordinator for Chicago White Sox Amateur City Elite Youth Baseball Organization, teaching and instructing ages 12 through 18 youth teams. Currently in charge as pitching coordinator for Marquise Grissom Baseball, CEO of Freeman Baseball Pro Performance Pitching, a consultant and video analysis company geared to the improvement of pitching. Virtual pitching instructor through social media and online video instructor. 2014 inductee to the Jackson State University Hall of Fame, CEO of Marvin Freeman Youth Foundation, 501c3 nonprofit. Impressive resume, sir.
I cut it down in half, man. I had double that, but I didn't want to go too on and on about myself, so I sliced it in half for
Okay.
this time of the show.
We all appreciate that. We all appreciate that. Now let's shout out some people because we still rolling in. Grady V10 showed up. Appreciate you, Grady. GC SP93's in the building. All right, Coach. So we have the resume out there. Now let's dive into some of these questions. But I want to say this to the audience: these questions we have are questions we went over, right? But you guys are welcome to ask questions as well. All right. So I'm going to lead off with our first one, and like I said, when you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. All right, Coach. So here we go. First question: what is your theory behind the increased pitching injuries from the amateur to professional level?
Well, most of the time with amateurs is due to the fact that they don't prepare themselves physically for the amount of force that they try to apply in games. Meaning that if you're going to be out there in the game and you're trying to throw the ball extra hard, but you haven't prepared your body or gotten yourself in shape or even understand how you're supposed to move, then there's going to come another risk of injury due to the fact of workload and breaks in your kinetic chain. So if you're not strong enough to move as fast as you're trying to move, then something is going to have to compensate for it. And usually it's the arm. So, the main thing is guys don't build themselves up enough in the off season. They don't throw enough. I see a lot of guys, they pitch a game and then they take 5 days off before they pick up another ball again. Well, that's just like a distance runner only running sprints. I mean, when it's time for him to go to distance, he's going to run out of gas. So the main thing that these guys need to really realize how hard it is to pitch and that the lower half or the legs is going to be the engine that drives your machine. So if your engine is a little bit weak, you're not going to be able to move as fast or as strong as you would if it was a reverse. So guys don't get in the kind of condition basically to carry their arms with the kind of workload that they put on it.
Okay. All right. Francis has a question from the jump right off the top. I think it's a little humor. Coach, do you still believe you can take anybody 450 dead center?
Anybody with your fastball, Francis, I've seen it, and it ain't really that intimidating. So if you don't locate it, you could be on the list as well.
Francis, there you have it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you on that. All right. How about this one? So, what exactly is pitching command, and how can a young pitcher begin mastering his command?
Well, again, command is the ability to throw a pitch where you want to throw it, not necessarily throwing a strike, but being able to throw something just a little bit off the plate, being able to throw something that looks like a strike that's not a strike. Like, for instance, if you throw a curveball for a strike to start a hitter off, you want to be able to throw your curveball so it looks like a strike and then it ends up a ball so that the hitter can expand his strike zone. So command is the ability to actually control your control. Control means I can throw strikes. Okay, everybody should be able to throw strikes from the time they leave Little League until they get to wherever. But to be able to have that same fastball that's just outside or that same fastball that you can bring in tight to the hitter to set up another pitch that you can command, then that's when you've reached the pinnacle of pitching, because not only do you have control of the timing that you can create for the hitter, which is taking a little bit off, but also you have the space factor because you can pitch in to get them out of the way. But if you lack command, then you lose the ability to take advantage of that. And so it all goes back again to having a strong, sound base so that you're able to get to the finish and still be able to recreate or repeat the same release over and over and over again while you're practicing it. So that if you're off just a bit, you have an idea how to correct it because you practice it so much. So that's where the throwing more comes into play. Guys need to throw more with less exertion, meaning that you can play catch every day if you're under control. But I see so many guys want to get the big prize. They want to get the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and they haven't put the work in. They haven't did the reps. They haven't gotten strong enough to really understand how their body works. And then they don't have an understanding of how to move all of that and coordinate it in a way that's going to allow that ground to create that force coming out of your release. So most of the time, command is going to be definitely related to how strong your lower half is at finish. And that's why it's important. That's why that's pretty much the foundation of what I teach, being able to keep that landing leg so steady that no matter how fast I come through, once I release the ball, I can fall on the ground or whatever, but I still got to be a fielder, so I can't totally collapse. But I got to be strong enough to get in this position and apply as much force through my release as I can possibly do on a consistent basis. And that's where your command is going to come in at.
Gotcha, gotcha. And you bring up the point about the guys not putting the work in. Whenever I have these videos, these interviews, the same questions come up. They don't say basically how do I throw 90, but it's the same concept. And guys, if you watch multiple videos, you heard this thousands of times now. The work, you have to put the work in, and you have to put the work in consistently at a high, intelligent level. Now, Coach, we're going to talk about this later, but there's a mental aspect to this as well. I know everybody's different, right? But command and the mental aspect can you talk about that correlation?
Well, I mean, every game ain't going to go your way. And as soon as you start getting mentally weak, breaking down from situations that you can't control, it's going to affect what you can control. So if your focus and your concentration is on making a pitch, but you're worried about the catcher missing it, or somebody just made an error last inning, the umpire blew two pitches already, you see your girlfriend sitting in the stand with one of your partners, I mean, you can't do nothing. Can't do nothing about that. All you have to be able to do is focus on what you're trying to do at that moment in a controlled situation mentally, so that you're able to feel what your body can do, and then you can execute. The mental part of the game is probably the toughest part, and a lot of people don't get because they think it's all about adrenaline. I see guys trying to pitch with a football mentality like, yeah, let's go, let's go. Well, you got to be thinking at all times of trying to destroy the aggressiveness or take away a hitter's timing. So if you're just going basically off, I'm going to throw it hard, and the hitter's going, I'm going to swing hard, basically it's going to swing in the hitter's direction because it's down to just reflexes. Anybody can react to a reflex. But if I throw a head fake at you and then throw the ball, your timing is off. And that's all I'm trying to do when I'm pitching. Keep you from swinging off the heels, trying to take me deep. But if I'm so mentally fired up and I can't think, or I get upset when I give up a hit, or things that's going to take me off of what I'm trying to do, which is execute a pitch, then I'm going to be mentally weaker than my opponent, and that's going to affect everything else. Because when you start trying to add effort without a controlled, without a controlled aggression, then now you're going to make more mistakes. Yeah. So it's very important to practice in your situations, even when you're throwing bullpens, practice putting yourself in tough situations so that you can mentally rehearse performing, even if it's a controlled situation. When that situation comes in real life, you've at least had some type of mental preparation. So I always like to say, bases loaded, 2 outs, game on the line, a hostile environment, they booing me, everybody's screaming, I got to make the pitch, the toughest hitter in the world is up. If I make the pitch, I win. If I don't make the pitch, I lose, and I stay there until I make the pitch. So I'm getting mentally prepared to succeed. So most of the time, if you can practice success mentally and add that to performance and execution, you're so much more prepared when you actually get in that situation in the game.
Yes, sir. And visualization, a big time part of the mental preparation game, definitely. Now, we had a bunch of people rolling in when you were answering the question. I want to shout them out. And we have 2 questions, and Nick is one of them. So we have shout out my man Louis G, my man Louis G Bradford 70818, Ryan Spikes, Ambrose
Spiky.
1, Simi on the OD I think Odily. All
Yeah.
right, GC asked the
Okay.
question. We got to scroll up. I'm gonna find next question real quick. Coach, do you still okay? That's Francis' question. Here we go. This is the next question. Coach Bree, what can I do for early trunk rotation?
um, it depends on what you're doing with your back leg. Most of the time, there's no real general fix for the actual symptoms that people have. You have to look and see what they're doing. So when you throw out a general question, like people send me video where they ask me questions all the time. I'm doing this. How can I fix it? Well, if I can't see what you're doing leading up to that, it's hard to diagnose something at the end. Most of the time, when guys have early trunk rotation, is because they start trying to pull more with their front side. They start falling. They don't have any strength in their back leg to control it. So it's several things that may create that. But again, it's understanding what you're doing individually that's going to help you get your back leg to take you to foot strike, and then you can get your trunk to rotate down as opposed to around when you deliver the ball to the base to the catcher.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Hmm.
again, with you, Nick, you fall. You don't get into your back leg to start your delivery to the plate. You try to throw the ball straight to the catcher instead of throwing down to the catcher. So that's going to immediately make your front side fly open. And so you have to be able to continue to practice on retraining how you get to foot strike and how you're delivering the baseball. When you can get downhill and then you can move that as fast as you normally move, you'll see your velocity go up, your control is going to get better, your arm is going to stay healthier because you're going to get that 275 behind every pitch.
All right,
And
Nick.
that's what
Okay.
that's what you weigh, right, Nick? 275?
Nick, so comment below and on that what you thought of that answer right there. And if you have another question, please don't hesitate to ask. All right. So then we have another question from GCSP93. I watch a lot of your videos on some pitches. On some pitches, he doesn't climb all the way over. It's hard to see with the white background, so I'm gonna have to do this. I watch a lot of your videos. On some pitches, he doesn't climb all the way over, and some he does. He has control and is able to locate. Should we be focusing on this? Any suggestions?
Not really understanding what the
Yeah,
actual question is.
yeah,
Um, the whole thing is when you practice your delivery all the time, everything is not going to always look like everybody else's. Um, when you say not get all the way over, it could be when I throw a pitch away from a lefty. I want to make sure that when I finish, my body's moving to where I'm trying to throw the ball. If I'm trying to throw a pitch away from a righty, I'm going to get all the way through and over my front side to make sure I don't leave that pitch over the middle of the plate. Usually where your head goes, the ball is going to go there. So if I'm trying to throw a pitch inside, I don't want to be going this way. I don't want to be going away when my ball is doing that because now that's going to put side spin on the ball. So that's why it's important to know what pitch you're throwing when you're analyzing different mechanics. Notice what the pitcher is trying to do, what side of the plate is the catcher on, and how his body is actually working. So again, everybody tries to take one pitch or one steal shot or one video and break their whole mechanical outlook down. But until you know what the pitcher is trying to do and whether he does it successfully or not, then you can start to analyze how his body finished and got in those positions to allow him to do that. But just being general and saying one pitch you finish here, once you're over, one pitch maybe they may all be different pitches to different locations, so your body's gonna move slightly different on every pitch.
all right, all right. There you go, GC. All right, so who is this? I think it's Bradford. Bradford. What are some techniques to help my youngest son to have stable lead leg?
First of all, what we used to do is we went outside. You know, a lot of times these kids, they don't even go outside and play. So jumping, running, doing kid things. If he's old enough to where he can start working out and start getting a trainer and lifting weights, I always recommend some type of strength training because whether it's 1% or 10% strength increase, you're still stronger than you were before you started. So the main thing as a kid seeking physical fitness and strength is to do something. You're not going to get strong hoping that it's going to happen. You find yourself someone like my man here to kind of give you some information and some techniques and things that you need to do to find out how your body needs to feed itself through exercise, learn how to eat right. But most of all, guys got to be active. If you just locked into one sport, you're probably missing out on some athletic ability that you can improve on being more of a cross trainer and things of that nature. But it's a lot of ways that you can improve yourself if you really wanted to go out there and put the work in. And it's going to start with the individual that's trying to get better. You can stand over anybody and beg them and tell them every day, hey, do this, do that. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And if they're not excited or prepared to go and put that work in, they're going to seem like it's a job or a chore. If it's a chore for you to help yourself get better so you can be the best that you can be, you probably don't want to be that guy anyway. So the main thing you have to do is understand that this is for you. You have to seek the information as an individual. You got to make time and schedule time to put this work in on a consistent basis because the more you work it, the easier it's going to be for you to perform it. And then the easier your functional strength is going to allow you to perform it. And you can't get functional strength if you're not functioning. So the things guys got to do is, I hear guys say, yeah, I work out 3 days a week. Well, okay, that's good if you're only going to want to throw, 2 innings. But if you want to be that guy that can go on Friday and then the coach calls you back on Sunday for the championship, you got to put twice as much work in as you normally do because your body is going to be taxed and you might as well try and get it strong enough to handle that workload. So it's all about being, making yourself available to work out and doing the work. There's no secret. You can look at any kind of programs to get your legs stronger. You can even simulate practice pitching, with a rolled up sock, throwing it into a wall. You can do that 50 times a day. That's not going to tax your arm, but it will make you feel how your leg's supposed to support you. So there's a lot of ways that you can do things at home, and it's all about getting out there and moving around.
I'm gonna piggyback on that, Coach, real quick. Going back what you said about just being active and being a kid. We have kids, as early as 11 years old with kyphosis, rounding up the shoulders from sitting at desk all day and being on their phone. That's something when I say our age, back when we used to just go out and play and be kids, like you mentioned earlier, that can correct things like that, prevent things from like that. Because that's just an imbalance. Bottom
Yeah.
line is when you're, 10 years old, you're too young to be worrying about imbalances, right? The kids from another previous generations. When you go out there and play and be a kid, and like Coach said, playing multi-sports this day, you could argue is more important than ever because what we're talking about, because spending so much time at the desk and on the computer and on the phone, shoulders round and over, kids having shoulder issues so early, Tommy Johns at 12 and 13 years old or whatever the case may be. You know, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that could be just from what Coach said, just being inactive. So, and once you do get this program down, there's things that we need to consider such as mobility, flexibility, being able to move through the full range of motion of the joint. That's getting a little technical, right? But I just wanted to let you see, number one, let's be active. Once we're active, once we have a program, we have to progress through these programs. So I just want to say that real quick, Coach.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't come out being 6'7", 240, black god on the baseball diamond just by birth. I worked at it, man.
I got you, got you, got you. All right, we had a bunch of people rolling in. I'm gonna try to find a question I just saw. I've heard I've heard you say your sinker is just a two seam. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, a two-seam fastball and a four-seam fastball are both fastballs. Some people call it a sinker because of the rotation that you create on a two-seam fastball makes it sink. Um, that's why it's the same pitch. It's both a fastball, but this is the fastball four seam count, and this is a two seam count because it's going to have more movement. Some guys, they get on the side of their two seamer and it just tails. I got on top of mine and I made sure my index finger started the ball down so it took more of a corkscrew spin. And if you know anything about physics, you know that the Magnus effect that's created by the spin of a ball is going to make it move a certain way. So the spin that I put on this ball going up against the wind off my index finger made it sink. And I threw that pitch. It was like a ball going this way. I had a slider going this way, and then I had a split going straight down. And if you got your pitches moving down, any kind of movement that you can control and command is going to be like adding 5 miles an hour to whatever fastball you ever already have. So if you're throwing 85 and you can make it move and cut and sink, it's just as good as 90 if you know how to use it. Most guys, they want to throw the ball past hitters, and everybody wants to strike people out. But if you throw three pitches and get three outs, that's the best inning in the world to have right there. You save your arm. You don't throw. They don't see as many of your pitches. You still got something left in the tank for later on in the game, and all that stuff adds up from game to game. So the two-seamer saves me from keeping the fastball up because it moves down, but it's still a fastball. It's a sinker, and it's still a fastball. It's the same pitch.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. People still rolling in, Coach. I'm gonna get some shout outs. Coach E of Guru. You know Coach E of Guru?
I know everybody, man.
Okay, because Coach E says, "What's up, fellas?" So what's up,
What's
Coach?
up?
We have Wade, Route 34. What's up, Wade, down in Jacksonville? What's going on with you? EGen 21, Tim Scarlett's in the building. Coach, I already said
Hey,
Guru.
Timmy.
Timmy, there you go in the building. Jackson Hilton 7's in the building. Dover 937. B Barlett 1. Isaiah Hunter 05. And I think we're up to date. Quinn Clary. I think we're up to date. All right. Actually, no. Max Robert 2. AGY 1 Quinn. And Powerful Bull 23. Powerful Bull 23.
These
JB
names
27.
killing me.
I
You
know,
killing me.
man. JB 24Z. Gordo. I think we're good. So we're gonna
Big
get some
money,
way in.
skilo, right-handed, hard thrower.
So you pretty much. I might as well skip over 3 because you touched on it a couple of times. I'll read it to you because you might want to elaborate. Why do young pitchers have problems using their lower half? Do you have any lower body pitching hacks? Lower body pitching hacks.
When you see, I see so many guys doing the running guns. When they get the video camera behind the coach that's behind the net and they run 15 steps and they try and throw the ball as hard as they can. So this is my thing. I always ask guys, what are you trying to learn from this? You just trying to light up the gun, or are you trying to learn how your body moves faster to help create more arm whip to give you more velocity? Most of the time, guys don't really, they know it's a fad. They see guys on, I'm throwing 105. I'm like, okay, that's with a 3-ounce ball and a running gun. All right, good. Let's see how that translates over into a game. But what you're doing is you're trying to move your body, and you're trying to get your upper body to travel as fast as you can as you plant this landing leg to create torque. So I see them so out of control. That's why I know it's really not going to translate over into their pitching because when the landing leg gets down, it's got to get stable. It's got to get stable so you can extend and finish the pitch with your head still watching the throw. Head can't be bobbing down onto the ground. So what I say is when you long tossing, try to not run and gun, but shuffle two shuffles as fast as you can and throw the ball on the line and stay on your landing leg until whoever you're throwing the ball with catches it. So if he's 100 feet out and you throw it on the line, that means you got to have some control of your landing leg after creating as much momentum as you can with a two shuffle stride. What you're doing there is you're learning how to brace up. You're learning how to drive off of that. You're actually getting functional strength increases because you're doing it so much on a regular basis. And that's the lower body hack because it's going to tell you that if I'm on the mound, I can't be buckling with my front side and falling down while I'm releasing the ball because I'm stable now. I've learned how to, brace myself up so I can really, discharge that energy with my upper half. And so, again, there is no quick drills. There is no magic bullets. There is no quick fixes. You can't come to me for 3 easy lessons and you're going to be the perfect game, number one ranked pitcher in America. This is something that takes time. And time is, when I say time, I mean at least at a minimum of 90 days of what you're doing to start seeing results physically. Most guys they think it's gonna happen quickly, so they get frustrated, and when it doesn't happen, they quit or they back off or they do something else. Well, you're never gonna get anywhere in this game right here if you don't put work in every day. The season is 163 games. A regular major league season is 163 games. You're gonna play 30 in spring training, and then if you make the playoffs, you may play another 20. So you're gonna play over 200 games in an 8 to 10 month span, and you still don't have it figured out. So the more you work, the more you can kind of keep getting to know who you are so that you can keep adjusting. And it's all about making adjustments, but you can't make those adjustments if you don't have the stamina or the strength to practice as much as you need to. So the hacks is work hard, work your butt off.
Yeah, exactly. Another point always comes up. The guys see their favorite pitcher rolling out there, lighting it up, throwing easily for 6, 7 innings, whatever the case may be. They see him doing another 5 days. Okay, yeah, I can do this. You don't know what he's doing in between that rotation. And that's a starter. We're not even going to talk about a reliever. They're doing something every day. They have something to do every day. And, the starters do as well, but the starters that have to worry about being up, that night. You know what I mean? So my point is these guys are doing something every day in between busting their butts so they can throw that 90 plus whatever it is, nice and free and easy. So keep in mind that hard work and the things these guys are doing behind the scene. The work ethic they have, Coach and I want to speak for you, Coach, but we would love for you guys to start developing that work ethic right now. Get an understanding what it's about and start working towards that type of work ethic. So just wanted to
It's
say that.
true, man, because I mean sometimes if you don't see yourself doing it, you're probably not going to even work the way you think that you need to work. A lot of times, guys, they hope they're going to be good, or they want to go play at a D1, or they dream about playing pro ball. But then when they find out exactly what it takes to do it, are you going to step up to the plate or are you going to shy away? I've seen a lot shy away because, pitching, if you ain't right, you get your brains beat out on the mound. And do you say, well, hey, I can't do it? Or do you, find out what you failed at and then you work on trying to fix that? And that's always how this game is going to go. You're going to get knocked down to get back up and work on trying to stay on top. So that's why it's important. Not only are you mentally tough, but you got to be physically fit in this game as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So we have a question. Isaiah Hillera, one. How do you throw a curveball consistently?
Um, well, what are you doing to make it inconsistent? That's any pitch that you throw consistently, you're gonna finish it the same way when you're practicing it. When it's inconsistent, your finish is gonna be different. And so if you aren't doing the same things in your delivery and your timing is a little bit off, you're not getting it out in front and finishing it, if you're falling all over the place, if you can't control the spin that you're trying to create, it's going to be inconsistent. But if you can do those things every time, which not many can, but you can get pretty close. Consistent could be different things to different people. A consistent curveball could be 3 out of 6 for some people. It could be 6 out of 6 for the guys that really have high expectations of what they're trying to accomplish. So it depends on what you see yourself as. Do you see yourself as being like a perfectionist? If you're a perfectionist, you're never going to be consistent because it's always going to be something wrong. So you got to be able to understand that you're going to make mistakes. Consistency means you can adjust after you make that mistake, because this game here it's a tough game, and you can't control what the umpire is going to call. You might throw the same pitch twice, and one will be called a ball and one will be called a strike. And I've had that happen to me many times. But again, getting back to that mental toughness, if he calls it a ball, you can't show your emotion and pout and kick and throw dirt around on the mound and then throw the same pitch and expect him to call it a strike. But if you got composure, you accept the fact that umpires are going to blow calls too, and you stay calm and make the same pitch, chances are you get the call. So consistency is a relative term, and especially with pitching, you're going to get it when you're consistently trying hard all the time.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And going back to the mental, I think I told you about, I have a mental program with my guys, and one thing, I just look at it as polarity, a law. I follow the law of polarity. You could either spend a lot of time on the negative side of good or of positive and negative. You can spend too much time over here in the positive. You got to have balance. You got to remain right here. You can get high as you want, but there's only one direction to go from here, right back down into the valley. So
Yeah,
that consistency is staying balanced, staying right here, and preventing those peaks and preventing those valleys. And like you said, for me, controlling your thoughts, being aware of your thoughts, and visualization play a major role in that. So,
absolutely.
and it's had a couple more roll in. We're at a good pace. We're at 8:09, a little less than half an hour left, so we're doing good. Nico De Luca's in the building. Isaiah, he already asked his question. Chris Edwards, 6412. They're in the building. We appreciate you guys for stopping by. So, all right, we're going to narrow down this 90 plus question, because it always pops up. So, what three main characteristics must a young pitcher develop to over time become a 90 plus pitcher?
Um, you know, Back in the day, guys guys thought that everybody. I'm gonna say myself. I'm 6'7", taller than Michael Jordan. I always thought I could be the next Michael Jordan if I did everything Michael Jordan did. Um, I couldn't do it. It ain't happened. So everybody's in search of a number. A number. I mean, I understand that there's been successes tied to being able to throw 90 miles an hour, and that's what a lot of schools and scouts start at when they look at you. And the characteristics to throw 90, again, they're going to come down to functional strength in your lower half, rhythm and timing, and how you can get all of that energy channeled through the baseball. Some guys can't even dance.
Hmm.
I mean, you can teach them a simple dance step, and just by their rhythm or timing being off just a little bit, you can tell that dance ain't as smooth as it should be. And no matter what they do, how much they practice, they still have a hitch in that dance. It's like running. If you're running and you got a limp, or like your knee may have a little nick, or your ankle might be hurting, or your hip is a little sore, and you're running against somebody that's fluid and smooth and rhythmic, and their breathing is good, and everything is, those are things that, sometimes you can never train to, but you can improve on what you have. And who knows that the improvement that you make on yourself individually may not get you to where that 90 number is that you're thinking is going to be the magic number. Because believe it now, guys, 90 is the new 85. Okay? Ain't nobody signing 90-mile-an-hour right-handed pitchers no more, nowhere. You better be 95. You better be touching 95 a few times, especially if you're in high school. If you're in college, you better hit 97, because the guns are a little ticked up. Everybody you can find 90. They bring in middle infielders to pitch mop-up innings, and they're throwing 88. So 90, okay. Let's say you got 90, but you ain't got no breaking ball. You ain't got no off-speed pitch. You just a regular 90-mile-an-hour guy throwing BP. So there are different ways that you can improve on your own personal numbers. But when you start chasing a particular number like 90 and you don't get there, now your whole mental is taken away from developing as a pitcher, and you're just a thrower now. Velocity gets you looked at, but pitching keeps you around. And let's say you can clean up some of your kinks in your delivery. You get better timing. You get stronger. You're going to get better. That's 100% guaranteed. But the number, and I've never been one to kind of sell velocity, because I know when I first came into the league, the year of 1985, I was voted by Baseball America I was in Double-A with the Phillies, and I was throwing 95 miles an hour. I had the best fastball in the whole Eastern League, and I went 1-7 with like a 6 ERA, because I was just trying to throw the ball past people. I'm thinking, hey, my fastball is good enough to get it by anybody. And they were tearing into it because I was behind in the count. I didn't have a breaking pitch. And these guys are professionals as well. So they're going to be able to hit anything slower than a bullet. And so when I learned how to pitch the following year, I won 15-6. I was 15-6, and I went to the big leagues, just because I learned that sometimes it's good to have that. You're not going to really have that maximum effort fastball that you're going to throw for your whole career. It's good to have it once or twice a game, but to develop strictly based on a number, or trying to do something that's going to trying to throw 90 is really the wrong way to approach pitching. And I never tell guys that if they throw 90, great. If you throw hard, great. But I'm always working on pitching. And so the velocity questions with me, they're pretty much meaningless, because I know how important it is to destroy timing. I know how important it is to have clean mechanics. I know how important it is to have your body as strong as possible, so you can apply all this force and do these things. And as you progress and you're doing these things, your velocity is going to go. And who says 90 has got to be the limit? So being able to get yourself in the right pitching shape and understanding how your body moves is what I stress. And so just trying to teach guys how to throw hard, I don't put a lot of emphasis on that.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. See where we're at. We have 15 minutes left. How is pitching in the game of, okay, here we go. This next question. How has pitching in the game of baseball changed since your last outing?
For who? I mean, for the just in general.
Yeah.
It's changed because they have so many guys that they just bring in to face one or two hitters that's all just trying to blow guys away. And when I was playing, the reliever had to go 2 innings. Sometimes the guy had to go 2 or 3 innings to get a save. They didn't take a starter out in the fifth inning because he was going to face a guy for the third time. That's when some of the best battles are made. You've gotten a guy out twice, or he got 2 hits off of you. He comes up in the sixth, seventh, eighth inning, and you got to try and get him out because you're still trying to win a game. That part of the game is gone. The strategy part is out. Unless you're a guy making 300 million like Cole or Justin Verlander, then they're going to leave you in. But on an average, they're taking that starter out a lot earlier. They're using more guys out of the bullpen, and it's just more of a strikeout or a home run type situation now. Guys bunted back in the day, so pitchers had to be more athletic. Guys had more of they had a hit and run. They used to go the other way. Now guys just try and hit over the shift. They're trying to pull balls in the air. And I pretty much think that the way that I pitched with making my ball sink and move, I'd have had much more success because every lefty I was running the ball down and away. And if they're trying to pull that, that's exactly what I'm trying to get them to do. So, and with right-handers, my slider down and away was my best pitch. So I got 2 pitches moving off the plate. And if you're trying to lift and pull everything, I think I'm going to have a better advantage. So guys are in better shape now as far as dedicate more of themselves to the scientific part of the pitching, which helps them build their bodies up. So this is the difference that I see now. But all in all, it's still 60 feet 6 inches. The guy up there still got a baddie trying to knock your head off. You trying hard as you can, and people are watching. So the game is pretty much going to be the same. When they move the mound back or make the ball bigger or make the plate smaller, then you can ask me how it's changed. But it's always going to be the same way with me. The guy that can throw strikes and change speeds and ain't scared and can go out there and give everything he got, he going to be successful wherever and whenever he plays.
Okay. So the last question of substance, because the last two are kind of fun questions. You answered it numerous times, so I'm going to kind of shift it. The question is, should pitchers implement a strength conditioning program into their baseball regimen? If so, why? Of course they should. But how has the strength and conditioning within baseball changed since the times when you were playing?
Oh man, I mean, shoot. When I was playing, we had we come in, we had the players' lounge, and it had like bologna and sandwiches and hot dogs, and you got guys eating cheese steaks before the game, and we used to have beer in the clubhouse and all of this. Now they got a guy in there with a chef. He's counting calories. He's preparing omelets with egg whites, and these guys got trainers with monitors on these guys, and I mean the scientific part of it and the technology piece has really made these guys their body is their business. So the way that they care for it now is in that fashion, because I mean when I came up the minimum wage was 110,000. I think now it's like 500,000 for a rookie. So you don't have to worry about going to winter ball or getting a job in the off season. You can take a trainer and you can have a personal chef, and you can keep your body prepared to perform, but it still doesn't help you execute when you get on the field. It helps you stay strong enough to be in a position to execute, but you still got to play the game. And I must say the guys and they don't you're not gonna see. When I was playing, saw a lot of guys that played deep into their careers, 35, 36, 37 years old. They getting guys up out of there now at 29, 30 years old. So the turnover is a lot quicker, and guys are always, a little bit better, in a little bit better shape. But all in all, again, it's still baseball.
Yeah. With metrics, and I'll bring in the performance side. There's always overkill always comes up, with the metrics. The
Hmm.
old school guys say, man, I just need to get up there and see it and hit it, throw strikes, change direction, might say that. But these new school guys coming from Harvard, they'll pull out a sheet of paper and say, we need to hit these numbers to succeed on the field. Well, how do you feel about that as far as those two? Do you believe in merging them or keeping them apart, or what do you think?
For a dude to tell me of what I've done, like punch in my numbers and tell me how I'm going to get somebody out based on what I've already done is ridiculous to me. Um, I can go back and look at every game that I pitched in and see where if I made a mistake, it got hit. If I didn't make a mistake, it didn't get hit. So it doesn't take a genius to know if you're a player. Now, most of these guys are friends of the GM.
True.
They're buddies of the GM. The guys that really couldn't play, they couldn't make it. Um, they weren't really good baseball players, but they're great with numbers. They're
Yeah.
good with analytics. And so now they're going to tell you how you can be successful when you know what you've done to be successful. So all they're going to do is say, hey, last year you struck out X amount of guys on your slider. Throw it more. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, I'm going to throw it more, but if I throw it as much as you want me to throw it, now it's not my best pitch anymore
Yeah.
because everybody's seeing it. They're
Yeah.
seeing it all the time. And so, the numbers they can mean people always say you can't lie with the numbers. Well, that's not true because I use the numbers, I use a Rapsodo, I use all these data balls, and I know that sometimes you can throw a pitch that won't have the good spin rate, it won't have the good spin efficiency, but it'll be a perfect location in the situation that you're trying to throw the pitch. And then you can throw a pitch, the very next pitch, and the numbers will be like, oh man, the spin rate, the velocity, and it can be over the backstop. So the
Mm.
numbers, you still have to be able to translate what a guy is doing based off the numbers to helping him either be more consistent in what he's doing, giving him an understanding of how he can use what it is he already has better. And that's what I think it's gotten away from. I think it's now is everything is based on everybody's coming up with a new stat now. And it's like the more stats you can come up with, the smarter you seem like you know the game or the smarter you are. And it really it doesn't take all that. I know if I throw 3 strikes before you get a bat on the ball, I'm getting you out. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right. All right. So I want to stay with metrics and let's just bring it down to the amateur level. What's your take on showcases?
Um, Showcases can be good if they're actually going to be held by the colleges that are actually looking for players. Um, if you know you want to go to a particular college and they're going to have somebody at this showcase looking at players at the position that you play with a chance for you to get a tryout or a scholarship or something, I think they're good. Um, I don't think a guy should just be going to showcase after showcase, regardless of what kind of shape or condition he's in, just to say I went to this showcase and now I'm in their book. Um, it is called a showcase for a reason. You want to go and display your talent. And sometimes these guys aren't ready. Sometimes they haven't played enough to go out and try and do the things that they're going to go out and try and show off. And they end up putting on a bad show. Now, is showing up at a showcase and putting on a bad show, is that a good thing? Probably not. So if you're trying to go to a college and the coach is going to have a representative there and he's informed you that somebody's going to be there and 2 or 3 other colleges are there that you might have some interest in, great. Go show it off. Go show what you got. But if it's just a money grab, then that's going to be up to you to decide for yourself. If you go into a $600 showcase and you're going to come out with a t-shirt, well, hey, that's your thing. I ain't trying to knock nobody's hustle, but what are you trying to get out of it for yourself? And that's the value that you have to place on whatever showcase it is you're trying to go to.
All right. Sounds good. People still rolling in. We have about 5 minutes, folks. I saw a question. I'm going to scroll up and try to find that question real quick. and then that might be it. Having all these folks coach, I mean, they are showing up. The screen keeps.
Oh, I got some disciples out there, baby. I got disciples out there.
And they are rolling in too.
They know
They
I
are
got
rolling
all
in.
this 100. I give up 100 right here. I give them 100% of what I got, and they know I'm real. They know the real. The real recognize real.
Hey, like I said, they are rolling in. Did I find it? What's the best way to use the new pitching technology? That's not it, but you want to go with that?
Depending on what it is you're trying to do, everybody's gonna have a radar gun. How's that gonna help you if you don't know what your body is doing to get there? Everybody's got these. Well, everybody don't have them because some of this stuff is so expensive you can't afford it. But it's good to know what you're doing. Get a kind of see what you're doing. So if you know your spin rate is 1800 and you don't feel like you're getting it as much as you can, and you want to measure that and you want to try and spin it faster, then you can look at it and see if it's you got a better spin rate, and then pay attention to the results though. I mean, don't have a good high spin rate and high velocity with no concept of where the ball is going. Don't have a curve ball that's got a spin rate so tight, but it's bouncing 3 feet in front of the plate. So understanding that the data that you get still has to apply to the result, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to locate, and you're trying to change speed. So if I know my changeup is 15 miles an hour slower than my fastball and I can spot it, and that's where I want to be, all that does is confirm what I'm doing, kind of gives you a little positive feedback. But again, if your eyes can see a ball and the catcher has his glove right there and you're putting it right in the glove and he's got it here and you're putting it right in the glove, then you don't need any contraptions to tell you that you're hitting spots. And so I say pay attention to what you're doing. If you got all of this data and information available, go ahead and look at it, read it, see if you can gain something from it. Any advantage that you can get as a pitcher is good. Hitters are watching videos of you. They're trying to figure out how you're holding the ball. They're trying to get information off of you. So gain as much information. Feed yourself with knowledge of yourself. Practice as much as you can on trying to repeat a stable landing leg, a downhill approach, filling the seams off the ball. Then you give yourself a chance to be a pretty good pitcher. And again, it's a tough position. Everybody's not going to be successful all the time, but the more you try, the stronger you are mentally, and the more reps you put in, the easier it's going to be for you to have success.
Well said, Coach. Well said. We're going to have to close out on that one. They're counting us down. We are at 1:23. So real quick, any type of plugs, anything you want to say to the people? We're at 1:17 right now.
No, I just want to say to all the guys out there, keep following me on Freeman Baseball. All I'm trying to do is give you guys some information that can help you maybe unlock some things that's within yourself to make you a better player and give you an opportunity to enjoy some of the same success that I had in my life, because I know how fun it is when you're dominating. And when you're dominating, it's a lot of fun.
That's a great way to shut it down. I appreciate that. I appreciate this time. We'll talk off camera. Definitely would like to do it again down the road. And shoot, we got 42 seconds left. Guys, again, this is Coach Ronnie. We try to do this once to twice a month. I talked to Coach about some other guests. So my goal right here is to expand this community locally and beyond. So look out for more interviews with people like Coach. And Coach, I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down.
All right, baby. Y'all take care. I'll see all y'all soon, man.
Okay, thanks y'all for joining us. This is Coach Ronnie, Coach Marvin Freeman. I will put Coach's name on the in the comments areas when the video shows up. Otherwise, this is Coach Ronnie. I'm out. Deuces. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, dog. Y'all be good.
All right.